So whenever you've got a case study in an exam, which is usually the case, especially with paper 2 and paper 3, it's really important that you use the case study to its full effect. Now, what I've noticed from some of my students' work, and again, when we've got some exam papers sent back to us from the exam board, is we've noticed the reasons why they've maybe not achieved the grade that they were hoping for is because of a lack of context. Their answers were quite generic, theoretically very, very good, but in terms of context, it could have been about any business. It was quite generic, and what you need to make sure is your answer is specifically about the case study and the situation that is given to you. So for example, in this circumstance, Jenny and Jenny's decision. So again, what I'd do is I'd read the question, understand the question, break the question down, interpret what the question's asking, and then return to the case study and have a look at what clues, what evidence is in the case study which could help me create my arguments. So within this question, the instruction or the command term is justify. So whenever you're doing a justify, you need to make sure that you've thought about the structure and you've got balance within your analysis. Do not commit to an evaluation straight away. Don't even commit within your first sentence if you think it's just your analysis and you're not making a decision straight away. By using phrases such as, I think she's correct, within that first sentence, it could create some form of bias in terms of your answer. So do not commit at all until you get to that judgment at the end. The context is Jenny's decision, so we have to think about Jenny's decision, and it relates directly to the focus, which is from a sole trader to a private limited company. Now, what we need to do is we need to think about, again, the theory as to why she might want to do it, but specifically why Jenny would want to do that. So let's have a look at the case study now. So I've gone through the case study and I've picked out points that I think could relate to certain analytical points that I could use. So the first one I'm going to consider is Jenny is keen to expand. So if we have a look at this one here, the first one that I've highlighted, Jenny is keen to expand. That is her aim. Okay, her aim is to expand. If we think about a sole trader, can she expand as a sole trader? It might be difficult to. And the reason for that is because in terms of a sole trader, finance could be limited. And she needs to invest, again, as I've highlighted here, £900,000, and even say she needs a significant amount of finance. So these are kind of clues in terms of one of the biggest benefits of private limited companies in terms of being able to, I suppose, achieve share capital, selling shares and getting capital in terms of that and putting that towards her aim. So that could be one thing. So I'm going to just put that as a potential. So I've put that within my little plan, significant funds needed, that could be my key point. Then I've also highlighted that, again, I'll highlight it here, she's risk averse, okay? Jenny is risk averse and believes in obtaining as much data as possible. Now, I'm not bothered too much about the data, but I am bothered about that. In other words, she does not like to take risks. She makes sure that she calculates her risks because she's not as willing to take risks as other entrepreneurs. She's very data driven. She's got a scientific approach. She doesn't do things in terms of like intuition, or she doesn't do things on a hunch. So you could argue, well, how does that relate to private limited companies? But again, another massive benefit of private limited companies is the reduction of risk, known as limited liability. So again, by thinking about her attitude towards risk could be another contextual point related to a key theory, which is limited liability. Now, we need balance. We need reasons as to why it might not be the best option. And many of you went for control. Again, you need to, if you're going to go for control and say Jenny may lose some form of control, you need some evidence within the case that suggests that is a key I suppose, a key factor for Jenny. Now, what I've put is she wants to expand, and I've put that as a negative for this proposal. Now, you may think, well, how is this a negative? The reason being is because it's her aim. She wants to achieve this. She will have probably a specific route that she wants to go down in terms of, again, her honest tea room. And Again, if you sell shares, and depending on how many shares you sell to a certain investor, you may lose some form of control, or you may need to, I suppose, have that discussion before making such decisions. Now, will the shareholder want or have the same vision behind this growth? Will they want to grow in a different way, perhaps? So you can look at it from that point of view. And another one that I've put and I've highlighted just here, okay, in terms of interest rates are at an all-time low. So again, why is that an issue of private limited company? It's not an issue, but you could kind of just strengthen that first point in terms of saying, if she doesn't want to lose control, then there is other options. The option of a bank loan. Interest rates are at an all-time low. It's probably the best time for any entrepreneur to get capital from a bank, because the cost of borrowing is going to be much cheaper than it has been before, and it might be in the future, depending on the loan agreement that they have with the bank. But you can already see that, to be honest, I'd probably argue that this whole idea of losing control is not a priority point, because even Jenny is the one who's proposed the change in ownership. If she was phased about losing control, she would never have proposed it in the first place. So again, because of that, you could argue it's not, if you put weighting onto it, it suggests that they should go ahead with the change of ownership because of that.